What's happening, people? Today I'm going to tell you guys how I paid off 22K in debt in less than 1 year. So, the first step that I got to tell you guys you must do is you must have a goal in mind for what you want to do. You need to have intention for it. The power of intention is a lot for any goal that you want to achieve, whether it's savings, whether it's a milestone that you're trying to break. You should have a goal for what you want to do. And my goal was to pay off debt as fast as possible, and I was going to do whatever it takes. Shout out to Dave Ramsey, because I'm sure every college graduate who has student debt has looked up, proper methods for paying off student debt. Like, how can I pay off student debt? Just search something on the internet, and you found bald country guy Dave Ramsey. And you know what he says? You must have gazelle intensity when paying off debt. And that's exactly what I did. I had a gazelle intensity. So the first step that you also need to do is make sure you have a job. If you're a college graduate, or say you didn't finish school but you have student debt that you need to pay off, get a job. That's the first thing that you need, is a job. Once you have a job, you need to figure out what from your paycheck you'd like to allocate from it every paycheck and stick to that. Don't cut corners. Don't say, oh, I might need to have this amount of money for that or this amount of money for that. No, you pick it. And you know what I picked? 50% of my paycheck. 50% of every paycheck was going towards my student debt. I said, I want this student debt gone. Now, if you feel like 50% is too extreme and you feel like, maybe I should just do 20%, maybe I should do 35, 40, that's you. And that's totally fine. You're the only person that knows how much you're making and how much that you're actually able to allocate towards your student loans each month. And it also depends on, the size of the loan. Me, I had 22,000 or 21,500. So I knew that, okay, if I really put my mind to this, this can be done before the end of the year, before the end of 1 year since I graduated. So that was what I did. The next thing that's really important for you to do is live at home for at least a year. If you have student debt and you have a job coming in, I don't understand why, unless your parents say, hey, I'm going to give you a portion of money to help pay off your student debt. You put in the hard work, you did this, let me help you out. Then maybe we can talk about not living at home, because there are benefits to not living at home for sure. But if you have this student debt, you have $40,000, $50,000 worth of student debt that you need to pay off, it really doesn't make sense for you to go and get rent to start paying off. That's going to be taken away from your paycheck anyway, because more than likely you're going to have to take out about, or maybe more than 50% of your paycheck towards your rent, when you could be using that to pay off a big burden on your back that you won't have to deal with years to come. 4 years to come. Now, living at home can stink sometimes, or it can be great. I can talk from experience. I got a lot of home cooked meals. It's a different environment from college. I was back home with my parents every single day, where I got help with not only not having to pay rent, but I also got help with meals. They cooked my dinners. Sometimes they would even cook my lunch to go to work with. So there's advantages there. But obviously the disadvantages there I also have to deal with. Whatever they say goes. They can set a curfew for you. They can tell you, no, you can't go here. No, you should not be coming home at this time. No, this is how I want this organized in my home. I won't lie, that does take a toll on you. But it's okay. You look at the bank account and it's like, sheesh, I could do this for a good bit. I'll tell you that. So living at home is another great tip. The next thing I suggest for you guys to make sure you can pay off your debt as fast as possible, more than likely in under a year if you so desire, build a hatred for interest. When I was going through paying off my student loans, Joe Biden had issued the payment pause, which was really great because we had no interest on our loans. So what did I say? No interest on our loans? Boom, I'm taking advantage of that right away. I can't even lie. If I was somebody that graduated college in like 2008, 2009, and I see that the kids today had a payment pause for a couple of years where they didn't have to worry about interest, I would be a little bit like, you lucky. Yeah, you lucky. Word that I probably don't even want to say right now. And even though the payment pause is over right now, you still need to develop a hatred for interest. Why? Because we don't want to have to pay the high interest debt. We want to try to tackle as much of the student debt as we can before the interest starts to tackle up, and years later we're paying more than we even want to. Because we don't want to do that. When you develop a hatred for interest, you're going to tell yourself, I want to pay this off as fast as possible so that I can have the freedom to make other decisions, so that I can feel a little bit better about my future earning potential. Developing a hatred for interest is super important. Because my parents made the claim that, hey, if you are getting interest on the loans, what ends up happening is you'll get it back in tax refunds. But like, why do I care about getting certain money back in tax refunds when I don't even have to worry about paying extra money due to having interest on the loan? Like, honestly, I have an interesting perspective on debt because, I mentioned Dave Ramsey earlier, and he really talked a lot about what debt does to you, and it really does limit your potential. It limits what you can do with your money. You probably shouldn't even really be thinking about a brokerage account too much when you have $60K in student debt to pay off, $80K in student debt to pay off, whatever amount you have. Like, that should be your primary focus, because over time that's going to build up if you don't worry about taking care of it. The power of intentionality is super important when doing any goal. A lot of savings goals are met when you have intentionality. When you set up a purpose for what you're going to stay for, instead of just saying, I'm going to put money away for whatever, what ends up happening is if you don't set a purpose for it, you're going to divert from allocating money from that. Because you're just going to say, hey, I actually need money for this instead, so I'm just going to do this. No, you actually, if I set up a fund, or so I set up a high yield savings account and I label it, this is for saving up for student debt, or if I just go ahead to the student debt website and just start paying off the money, there's intention towards that. The power of intention is so important, guys. It's really important. And I think that once you set those standards and follow the rules that I laid out for you guys, you're going to be looking back a year or two later, and you're going to be like, I'm so chilling. I'm so happy and grateful I took the time now to pay it off. You're going to be thinking 7 years later, 8 years later, you might meet a significant other and they still have student debt that they're dealing with because maybe they went to grad school and they ended up taking on about $50K more in debt, and you're sitting back and you're just debt free, like, wow, thank God I'm not worried about that anymore. I'm good. That's the video for today, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, share if you found the information that I gave you guys valuable. And, peace and love.